Alright, what's going on, y'all? So today, we have got my 5 rental teams for the beginning of Regulation C. I did it. I finished my rental teams. They actually came together pretty naturally, I felt like, and smoothly, which was nice. Regulation C in the beginning felt like it was very daunting, and it was like, oh god, these things are gonna just ruin everything. And it actually feels like, I don't know if I would say Regulation C is a little bit more versatile than Regulation B, if that's what we want to call it, right? But it feels like it's easier to just you could technically just build a Series 1 team and then you don't even have to throw anything extra on it. You could, but yeah, this series has been a little bit less powerful than we expected in some ways. I don't know how to put it, but anyways, thank you all for tuning in. If you appreciate the content, consider giving a like and subscribe, helping us grow towards our current goal, I suppose, of 1,000 subscribers. So this team that we have first here is a team that I actually used yesterday while I was I was doing some battles, recording for tomorrow, I guess. And I really like the way this team turned out. It's a pretty, kind of unorthodox looking team. We have seen Gyarados Glamora picking up since I came up with this team, which is kind of nice. The one slot that I was kind of up in the air about is Roaring Moon. But after playing with the team, I feel like, even though, yeah, Flutter Mains are around, whatever, I feel like Roaring Moon has actually been able to do really well on this team, which has been nice to see. But talking about the Pokemon one by one, we have a Grass Terra Glamora with Assault Vest, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Mortal Spin, and Power Gem. This is for, just kind of setting up the tick right, and Glamora is actually a really good Pokemon for being bulky, as well as just having an interesting move pool that can hit good things for super effective, like Dragonite, Flutter Mane, Deli Iron Bundle, actually, because of the Power Gem. So we've got some really good, super effectives that we can do with Glamora, and all in all, it's a pretty solid pick, especially when paired with Gyarados and Amoonguss, which are good switch outs for ground moves if you are gonna not Terra Glamora. The Amoonguss Covert Cloak, this is the same Amoonguss I've been running a lot with Dark Terra, Clear Smog, Spore, Protect, and Rage Powder. I do think that Pollen Puff is been taking place right now as the main move over Clear Smog, just because Dondozos are not as rampant right now, but Dondozo is in fact still a Pokemon, and we do want to be ready to counter that if we need to. Thirdly, we have a Ground Terra Gyarados with Life Orb, Intimidate, Waterfall, Dragon Dance, Protect, and Earthquake. So this is a really interesting set. I felt like it pairs really well with Amoonguss, and Gyarados is kind of stonks right now because Intimidate is good, and it's not electric moves are all over the place. So Arcanine is great and all, but sometimes Gyarados is a little bit better. It can't Will-O-Wisp things. It can Thunder Wave things, even though mine doesn't have Thunder Wave. It can also taunt things. So Gyarados is actually a pretty versatile Pokemon, and this moveset is just nice for if you get the ability to set up, and you can click Rage Powder, Dragon Dance, and then you can click Ground Terra, Protect, Earthquake, you know what I mean? Random things like that. So fourthly, we have Focus Sash Flutter Mane with Steel Terra, D-Gleam, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and Protect. So, I mean, yeah, you could argue that I think Fairy Terra could be good just because that extra damage is good, but I also do really like being able to make Flutter Mane more bulky if we do need it to be with that Steel Terra. So we got that. Fifthly, we've got the star of the team, right? The Chiyu, little goldfish boy, with a Ghost Terra, which I feel like is just the decided best Terra right now for Chi-Yu, probably because 1 extreme speed would just make the boy fall over. And we got Dark Pulse, Snarl, Heat Wave, and Overheat. Now, when I originally came up with this idea, in my head I was like, yeah, Chi-Yu is the same speed as Chien-Pao, it's all good. Like, no, it's not. It's a base 100, which means it's not as fast as I was expecting it to be in any way, shape, or form. So I had to remake this team to make Chi-Yu a little bit bulkier at the cost of a little bit of special attack investment. And the real idea with this is that what you guys will see in game 2 of tomorrow's video is I ultimately could have brought better Pokemon because I brought Amoonguss in the back and it didn't do anything. And if I brought Fluttermane in the back, I probably would have just auto-won. But I also could have won if my Chi-Yu had had like 10 more HP points, because the Dazzling Gleam from the Fluttermane would have taken us down to less than half health. And so there is that. But now that I am aware that Chi-Yu is slower, I do understand why Scarf could be a better option over Specs, but you know, we do have, going on to our 6th Pokemon, that Tailwind Roaring Moon to kind of help set the team up, which has been really good. So we have the Flying Terra Roaring Moon with Protect, Acrobatics, Throat Chop, and the Tailwind. Just really good Pokemon right now. I mean, like, I know I said good like 2 or 3 times, but even without Terraing it, I've felt like it has been able to put me in some really good positions, whether I'm starting Amoonguss Roaring Moon, or I'm just starting like Gyarados Roaring Moon or something random like that. Like, I feel like a team like this, it looks to some degree like it doesn't have options, but it does have options, and it forces you to play in a lot more in a way that helps you learn, because it's not like me click Tailwind, go go go. Like, I mean, it does have Tailwind, let's be honest, so I kind of just defaulted myself there. But, you know, it's not like a Tailwind Talonflame team or something where it's like, the only way I'm going to play this right now is I'm going to click Tailwind, we're going to do Tailwind things, and if I'm not the fastest, I'm losing, right? This team is not exactly like that. Like, you have the ability to try to make yourself the fastest with like Dragon Dance and Redirection, but if you don't have to start Tailwind, or you don't have to start something that looks like ridiculously overpowered, you know, you can get some good success. That was a really weird way to explain that, but what I'm trying to say is, like, a team like this can get results while starting really weird things like Roaring Moon Clamora and like Gyarados Chi-Yu, and like those are just not exactly things that I think you expect a lot of the time from other players or something. I don't know. So we've got interesting things going on, and it's not just the meta, but at the same time I think teams like this are a little bit meta right now. So trying to wrap things up really quickly before we move on. Common leads: Amoonguss, Gyarados, Amoonguss Roaring Moon, Glamora plus either of those, any 3 of those, right? I mean, Chi-Yu Fluttermane, right, is a solid lead, but I don't think I'm starting Chi-Yu that often. If I'm not, yeah, I this team doesn't always feel like it wants to start Chi-Yu, so that's just something to think about. But going on to our second team, we've got a Chien-Pao team. I actually feel like this is one of the more consistent teams that I came up with in terms of like the way the meta looks right now. This is a pretty on par team, honestly, except for Sylveon. Not that many people are using Sylveon right now, but I am, and it's good. It literally just destroys things with Hyper Voice. Like, Iron Bundle, never heard of ya. Fluttermane, you ain't eating 2 Hyper Voices, my boy. Like, any of the Ruin Pokemon, you got a Terra, my guy. So, like, Sylveon is really good at forcing Terras in this format, and that's one of the ways that I think it really thrives. So going over the team one by one, we do have that Ghost Terra Iron Bundle with the booster energy. Very standard set, right? I'm not running like Encore or something like that. We just have the Freeze Dry, Protect, Icy Wind, Hydro Pump. We have a Inner Focus Dragonite, which I can definitely see how multi-scale would be better. I don't have like an ability capsule to give it right now, so you know, Pokemon could help me with that maybe. Give us more resources. You took my resources. Okay, so we have Extreme Speed, Dragon Claw, Ice Spinner, and Earthquake. I feel like it's a generally solid set for Dragonite. I know like Brick Break or like random things like that have been picking up a little bit just to address the meta, but you know, with the normal Terra, we can do Dragonite things and Choice Band, I guess, but you could probably run Life Orb. I mean, I in the past have switched from Choice Band to Life Orb Dragonite just because you can have the luxury of changing your moves, right? And that's always nice. Going on, we have the Safety Goggles Arcanine with Water Terra, Flare Blitz, Will-O-Wisp, Snarl, Protect. I might actually want to change that because, I mean, Snarl is cool and all, like, but Extreme Speed. So, yeah, we might end up changing this team to have Extreme Speed, and if that's the case, the updated rental code will be available, you know, by the time the video's out. Covert Cloak Amoonguss with Dark Terra, Clear Smog, it's the same one. We don't have to talk about it again. it's the same Amoonguss. Dark Terra, all the works, right? Focus Sash, Chien-Pao with Poison Terra, Ice Spinner, Sacred Sword, Sucker Punch, and Protect. I do think Sucker Punch is just kinda okay. Like, Throat Chop is good. Sucker Punch is very reliant on your opponent not protecting or clicking Will-O-Wisp or something. But, I mean, it has priority, which is nice. So, Poison Terra, just really good for Chien-Pao. And then lastly, we have the Throat Spray Sylveon with Hyper Voice, Terra Blast, Protect, and Quick Attack. And Flying Terra. So the Flying Terra is a remnant of my Knoxville, or I mean my Charlotte team. But I like it. It's good into a meta with Fissure. It's good into Amoonguss. But I mean, there are times where Sylveon would be better with a defensive Terra or like a ground Terra or something like that, you know, so those are some adjustments to think about. We'll definitely probably change Snarl to Extreme Speed on Arcanine, but besides that, I think the team looks solid. So, talking about the team, I really like the Amoonguss Sylveon start just because it lets Sylveon start getting set up. I think there are other starts that Sylveon can be good with, right? Like Arcanine Sylveon is a good lead. Iron Bundle Sylveon can be okay. Dragonite Sylveon I think puts on a lot of pressure. Besides that, you know, there's the pretty standard leads like Chien-Pao Dragonite. Arcanine Bundle I think is a really good lead. I think I'll try to stop saying I think. But competitively, Amoonguss Arcanine is a very solid lead. So there's always that. And like I was saying, like this team really has a lot of the components that make it just like a standard good team. So we've got that. And I definitely look forward to trying this team on ladder because I haven't actually tried it yet. So thirdly, we have the Sand team. So this was the most slapped team that I created. Like, I literally just took a Series 2 team that I had, and I took a Pokemon off of it for Tinglu. So, I don't remember what that Pokemon was, if we're being dead honest. I think it might have been, like King Gambit? I don't know. But this is what we got. So we have a Bright Powder Sandvale Garchomp with Ground Terra, Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, Iron Head, and Protect. So we do fun, silly stuff with Bright Powder Sandvale shenanigans. We have the Assault Vest T-Tar with Flying Terra, Rock Slide, Crunch, Terra Blast, Low Kick. I don't really know how well T-Tar is going to do into the current meta. Like, it's definitely a Pokemon. but it's really there for setting up Garchomp more than anything, and then eating special hits because it can do that, right? And I mean, it also has a good moveset, so you really can't fault it, right? Thirdly, we have the Covert Cloak Talonflame. Steel Terra, I think it's just good resistance-wise, but like Ghost Terra can be good, right? We have Tailwind, Flare Blitz, Taunt, and Will-O-Wisp. I know the way I said that made it sound like Taunt's a weird move, but Flare Blitz, I know a lot of people don't think is the move on Talonflame, and like you should be using Brave Bird. And I mean, I agree with that, I guess, to some degree, like, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, Goldango is a Pokemon, and like we're not always gonna have Garchomp to deal with it. So sometimes you need two super effective moves to deal with Garchomp, or to deal with Goldango. So we got Flare Blitz. And going on to our fourth Pokemon, we have the same Iron Bundle as the last, Ghost Terra to stop those fake outs, standard moveset. Fifthly, we have a Water Terra Goldango with Citrus Berry, Shadow Ball, Protect, Make It Rain, and Nasty Plot. So really interesting stuff. I mean, it's not like any different than what most people are doing, right, with their Goldangos, but like I feel like this team has a lot of threats, and if not checked, you know, this team definitely has the ability to run over the opponent without even considering the Tinglu, which is, you know, Poison Terra, Assault Vest, Stomping Tantrum, Ruination, Throat Chop, and Heavy Slam. So, I mean, I get, like, Fissure's a move, you know, you can click it, it does things, but I just don't think it's consistent enough to be, like, seriously considered. I actually think on this team that Earthquake could be solid. So, like, you could drop Ruination for Earthquake, maybe. I like Throat Chop. I don't really know if I'd want to drop it. But I feel good about this team. You know, we'll have to see how it plays. Like the other team, I haven't tried it on ladder yet, but I like the way it looks. So common leads are going to be, you know, the Garchomp Talonflame obviously is very solid. Iron Bundle Garchomp is also another very viable lead. We also have, like, Garchomp T-Tar, because you can just set up Sandveil right away. Goldango Talonflame can be good, right? I think this team has the most straightforwardly good leads out of, like, any of the teams we've talked about so far. It's like, you look at this team and you're like, I'd be afraid of that lead, I'd be afraid of that lead, I'd be afraid of that lead, if I was facing it, which I'm not, because I'm using it, so good. But we'll try to get good success with it, right? So going on to our fourth team, we have the first team that I used on ladder in Regulation C. So we've got the Electric Terra Pelipper, which I know is kind of like meh to some degree. Like the Electric Terra is kind of just there, but you could definitely do like Grass Terra. I think would be really good. Ground Terra could be good. Citrus Berry I really like because, you know, Pelipper actually is bulkier than most people give it credit for. Like, sure, you can give it Focus Sash because it can't eat an electric move, but like we already talked about, electric moves aren't everywhere right now. So second, we have a Dragon Terra Scizor. The Dragon Terra is a filler, again. I just didn't really know what to give it. Choice Band with Pounce, Bullet Punch, Aerial Ace, and U-Turn. I really only use Bullet Punch and U-Turn. Like, Pounce is there if you need a little bit more damage, and Aerial Ace is a move, I guess. Like, I don't know what else I would give it. Like, it doesn't get Trick. I mean, you could give it Close Combat, I think would be the other good move, but like, I don't know. We'll see. Well, if I need to adjust it, we can. Thirdly, we have Gastrodonge with Fairy Terry, Earth Power, Recover, Muddy Water, and Protect with Leftovers. This is meant to go very well with the Gastrodon, which the Pelipper, which if we didn't talk about, has Tailwind, Surf, Hurricane, and Wide Guard. right? So you can click Surf, you can do Storm Drain things, and you can try to just overwhelm your opponent with damage from Surf, Muddy Water, and Hyper Voice and things like that, while also having a lot of other damage with Bullet Punch and Leech Seed Stall. So I do think you could give Lo-Chen the leftovers instead of Gastrodon, but you know, that's one of those like could be type of things. Like, it's kind of either way, but I don't exactly know which one would be better, because honestly I use Gastrodon more than I use Lo-Chen, so like, just saying. 4th and 5th Pokemon are things we've already talked about, right? The Amoonguss with the same spread that we've been using, Covert Cloak, Sylveon with the Flying Terra, with Hyper Voice, Terra Blast, Protect, and Quick Attack. And then lastly, we have the Poison Terra Lo-Chen with Leech Seed, Ruination, Protect, and Pollen Puff. So Pollen Puff is really good against opposing Lo-Chens, as well as just being kind of supportive for like Gastrodon or Scizor if need be, I guess. But Ruination helps to speed up the Leech Seed thing, and Leech Seed does Leech Seed things. So we've got that going for us. And common leads on this team are going to be like, I feel like this is another one of those teams that's like, you end up leading things that look very non-conventional in a way that like more or less might help you grow as a player, because you're not just like doing what everyone else is doing. You're like finding a way to make more niche things work very well. Like, I'm not just starting Flutter Bundle, I'm starting like Sylveon Scizor or something like that, and like seeing good results, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, we can start like Amoonguss Scizor and click like U-turn into Gastrodon or, you know, something weird like that. But yeah, so we have Amoonguss Scizor, like Pelipper Gastrodon is a good lead. Like, I think Pelipper Sylveon has been really solid sometimes, but Amoonguss Sylveon is one of my most common leads, I would say. And besides that, it's more so just like looking at the opponent's team and being like, this could work. But just trying to speed things up here because I want to get this video done as quickly as I can. So going on to our last team, we've got the team that I used in the last video, right? So we've got the Iron Hands with Grass Terra and Citrus Berry with Drain Punch, Swords Dance, Fake Out, and Wild Charge. I really like this moveset. It can be really oppressive if your opponent is not ready for it, because Iron Hands is a very bulky Pokemon, and you can run it in a way that's like, it kind of still has the Assault Vest, but, you know, now it can click Swords Dance. And it has a Citrus Berry, which is fun. So I really think Amoonguss and Iron Hands are a super great lead, but we also have the Fairy Terra for a Graph to help with Dark, Pressure, Psychic, Hyper Voice, Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam. Fairy moves are really good right now also, so like, you have that going for you. And I do click Dazzling Gleam quite a lot, so, you know, like, it's a good moveset. Throat Spray to raise your special attack if needed, right? And we do need a lot of the time. It's very nice to have. Do you need to like talk on the thing? Okay. So I'm just gonna try to talk as long as I can, while hoping my laptop doesn't die magically. So yeah, going on, we have the Corviknight with the Flying Terra with Brave Bird, Bulk Up, Body Press, and Roost. So I really felt like Safety Goggles is a cool call on Corviknight, and other people have definitely picked up on it as well. It's, you know, good for stopping Amoonguss. I could definitely use Leftovers. I think that'd be like the other good move, right? Agua Berry could also be a thing. Sorry, I also started like talking to someone there for a second. I had to walk into the other room. but the Corviknight is able to drop Tailwind a little bit more in this meta, and especially on a Trick Room team like Brave Bird, Bulk Up, Body Press, and Roost get a lot done, and that's just really nice to see, right? So we have ways to really like pressure the format more than just clicking Brave Bird a bunch of times, and Mirror Armor is really good for countering, you know, things like Arcanine that are going to be trying to really put pressure on the physical attackers, right? So, fourthly, we have the Tinglu with the Assault Vest and the Poison Terra again. It's pretty standard. Like, it's really just up to what moves you want on Tinglu at this point. Like, and I like this moveset. Like, it's okay for what we need, right? Sixthly, we'll go on to Palafin in a second, but we got the Amoonguss. That's the same Amoonguss I've been running. I just think Amoonguss is really good right now. Like, it's pretty much always good, because it's redirection, it's good in Trick Room, it punishes Trick Room if your opponent has Trick Room, and the redirection is really important a lot of the time. So, lastly, we do have that Palafin, which I've definitely felt like could be an Arcanine at times. Like, I really like Arcanine. It's a good Pokemon. Nobody's gonna lie about that. Arcanine is a darn good sir. But, you know, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to try Palafin because, like, Palafin does Palafin things, and I don't know. It's just, like, in testing, I haven't gotten to use Palafin with this team because it's so situational, right? But, like, hypo-theoretically, right, you could do something like start Palafin for Farigiraf and click Hard Swap into Amoonguss Trick Room, right? Or you could start Iron Hands Palafin and click Fake Out Hard Swap into Amoonguss, and then click Rage Powder Swords Dance the next turn. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of really cool things that you could do, but I just didn't get the chance to use the Palafin, I guess, and Arcanine Corviknight is a really good duo, is really what I was thinking. So, like, if anything, if you wanted to just drop the Tinglu Scrat off this team for, like, Arcanine, this would be a really good team. And that's the thing about Regulation C. It's like, cool, we have a Tinglu, but what if we took Tinglu off this team for Arcanine and just wrecked people? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's something to think about. It really is. This would be such a nice team, just with Arcanine over Tinglu. Good stuff. Okay, so talking about common leads, I think we kind of got into it a little bit there, but, like, Farigiraf Amoonguss always going to be solid. Well, it's a good lead, but it's not always going to be the best lead. Iron Hands Farigiraf, right, it's good for helping get the Trick Room up again with the Fake Out. I do think Palafin Farigiraf can be good, but it's not going to be as often. Like, I think Amoonguss Corviknight, Amoonguss Iron Hands Corviknight. I really don't see you leading Tinglu that often, but Tinglu is a Pokemon, let's be honest. And it's slow, which is good. I mean, Chanpao could take the place of Tinglu, but, like, I don't like picking up the type of weaknesses that would afford us. So, like, Tinglu has the best synergy with this team in terms of, like, countering the weaknesses of other Pokemon. There's not a lot of overlapping weaknesses on this team, except for 2 grass weaknesses and 2 ground weaknesses. Is that what I was gonna say? No, if we had Arcanine, it'd be 2 ground weaknesses. We have 2 fire weaknesses, and 2 electric weaknesses, I guess. So, but we don't have too many overlapping weaknesses, and overall, I feel pretty good about this team. So, just really quick, I don't know if we can really rank the teams, because the way I'm doing this, I can't like back out and look at them all at once, right? But how would I rank them? That's really interesting. I feel like this team and like this team and this team look the nicest, right? But like potentially, like this team has some potential. I'd put it a more of like second tier, and then like this team as well, I think has a lot of potential, but it does. You have to get up Trick Room, but if you do get up Trick Room, this team is extremely solid, and it has ways to get it up. So this might even be one of the best teams, but like that's what makes it hard to rank them all. And while I like the way this team looks, I might put this team last. So I don't know. I like these teams a lot. I'm really happy with how these teams turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy using them. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. If you are not subscribed again, consider giving a subscribe, helping the channel grow. And yeah, definitely let me know how the teams go if you try them. So I hope you have a good one, and have a good one. We are out here.